Am I having a hallucination?
Hi, Emily.
You also know her?
We were at Runway at the same time, Miranda.
Really? Where was I?
Thanks for watching this Fandango exclusive interview sponsored by Apple Pay. Check out in seconds on Fandango with Apple Pay.
Emily, Stanley, it is such an honor to meet the both of you.
Thank you.
It's just such a gift to see the four of you guys back on screen together.
Okay.
Do you remember how you all assembled? Like, who was signed on first? Was it a group decision?
We'd all heard mutterings, and then we'd all sort of write. I mean, Stan and I obviously see each other all the time because we are now related. We're over-related, actually.
Yeah.
So we kind of knew we were in cahoots about it. Well, are you going to do it? Well, is Meryl back? And I think we were waiting to hear, is Meryl back?
Yeah.
Like, she was the one I was sort of like, I kind of knew we could corral, like, me and you and Annie, but I didn't know if
she didn't do it. There wasn't going to be a movie.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think when we heard she was sort of interested, and then I don't know, it seemed like a runaway train all of a sudden. It was mutterings and suddenly there was a script, and then we
happened.
5 months later we were shooting. It was wildly quick at the end. There.
Well, I'm very glad that it was a group decision and you guys were all there together.
Yeah.
I want to talk about your characters in this sequel because after the first film, both of your characters were betrayed. And so I wanted to know how that betrayal manifested itself in your characters. How did they choose to deal with it and how they show up in the second film?
Well, Nigel chooses to deal with it, as he says towards the end of the first film, which is, it's okay. In essence, it's nothing that hasn't happened before, and it will happen again. And we see that in this film too. He speaks of it. But he's so devoted to her, and he's so devoted to his job. He's so devoted to fashion and the idea of fashion and the legacy of fashion and what he feels is the necessity to continue to create things of quality and artistry and craftsmanship. So for him, it's not even a question. It's not personal. It's about a thing that's much bigger than he is.
Which is makes him so gracious and dignified.
Yeah, which is the sort of opposite of Emily's character.
Where it's me.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the betrayal for her really was heartbreaking because I think also maybe Andy was starting to become the first friend she might have ever had. And there's definitely this outrageous qualities to the character. She's desperate. She's all of those things, but she's very, very, very ferociously ambitious. And she's kind of a survivalist. She's sort of evolved with this new digital era. And yes, she was betrayed in the first one. I think in a way, the thing she seeks most is for Miranda, who's like a sort of unreachable mother figure for Mummy to say, you're iconic. And I don't know that she'll ever hear those words, but that becomes really, I think, the sort of submarine plight that she's on is to be welcomed into the artistic sandbox that Nigel and Miranda, all of them play in. It is one of my favorite lines where she says, you're a vendor.
Oh, it's awful.
That burned. The classic Miranda Priestley.
And on the day when we shot it, I was just like,
oh my goodness.
Done.
Yeah.
Definitely.
She's scary.
Very scary.
Yeah.
Well, Emily certainly has evolved. And at least in the first part of the movie, we see that she does kind of have the upper hand to Miranda Priestley. So how did that feel playing someone who has the upper hand to Miranda?
Well, it was really fun playing someone who quite enjoys lording over the power that she has. She is in a sort of prime position to rule the roost in a way. And yet I still think she's very obsequious towards Miranda. So it was fun to sort of play those scenes where she is powerful, but she's still obsessed with Miranda. So it's kind of that big conference room scene was a lot of fun.
Yes, absolutely. It was a lot of fun to watch. And speaking of fun, I think I know the answer to this question, but is there anyone more fun than Stanley Tucci on your movie set?
No.
Because I heard there were possible martinis and pasta after work.
Oh my God.
The
video that you sent me, it's one of my favorite videos. It was that Stan had a particularly long day. I think probably shooting a conference room scene, which really
take forever.
Boring to shoot because you have to have endless angles. And he was on set. Someone when I think Oscar had filmed you, he was shaking up a martini like that.
Oh my
Slow.
God.
Very slow, slightly angry shake. And then someone went, Stanley, we're ready. And you went, okay.
Oh my gosh.
I remember.
I need that outtake in my
Yeah.
life.
Oh, I
Oh,
need
God.
it. It was
Oh,
so,
God.
okay.
Yeah. Yes. That's, of course, only at the end of the day.
Yes,
Of
I
course.
think.
Never at 1
Yes.
p.m.
Never.
No,
Never.
you've never
And then-
seen a makeup trailer so happy to have Stanley Tucci
Oh,
on it.
I
Because
love
you
it.
will get a martini
I-
at some point. It's actually my
Here's
favorite
what I want to
place.
do. I want to make a movie where you have a costume, you get your costume on, you go into the makeup trailer, you have the makeup, and then you talk, and then you go back, you take your clothes off, and you go back into the makeup trailer, take your makeup off, and have a martini. I don't need the film part.
No,
Okay.
I don't need that.
The
Just skip
makeup
straight to
trailer is
martini.
my favorite.
It's the best place to be.
And they know.
Oh.
You ever
all
want
the
to find out
secrets.
what an actor's like? Ask the Heron
Go
makeup.
to the
They know
makeup
everything.
Taking notes,
Everything.
taking notes. Now, did Meryl partake in the after work martinis? Because I know in the
We
first
had a few
film.
with
Sometimes,
Meryl.
yeah.
Yeah, she was more methody on the first one,
Yeah, she was
and then
a
I
little
think
more-
she
yeah.
kind of got bored of that.
Yeah.
This one.
Okay.
I think she knew us too well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
It's like you can't go back.
No, you can't.
No,
do
it's a
that.
lot of water under the
And
bridge
Meryl
there,
is
so.
naturally just someone you want to have a beverage with, and
She's
have
the
a
most
laugh
fun
with. She's
ever.
the most fun person.
Just to be a fly on the wall on that
oh,
set.
so cool.
Now, Emily, this isn't the first time we've seen your character return. Emily Charlton was also Miss Piggy's assistant
Yes.
in the Muppet movie. So
I kind of want to play her for the rest of my life, I guess.
who is the better boss, Miss Piggy or Miranda Priestley?
Oh, Miranda Priestley, yeah, for sure.
All right.
Miss
Heard it
Piggy.
here. Miss
I
Piggy.
know.
Do you remember
We
that
love
in the
Miss
Muppets?
Piggy.
Yeah.
There you are. I am on time. So you're the kind of person who thinks on time is on time. Okay, got it. All right, come on. I'll show you to your office.
Amari, I need to pee. Please, I had a venti.
Oh, was it worth it?
Hi, everyone. Congratulations on being a part of such an iconic film. I want to know, what are some of your core memories from watching the first film? Are there any like repeatable lines or scenes that really made an impression?
The reveal that the scripts are bound and on the train was like, for the twins, was really quite something to see. I feel like to like see that sequence happen, and then for like the reveal to be, I feel like it was like train going by really quickly. Like,
I was
do you know what I'm talking about?
twins?
Mm-hmm. They were the
Yeah.
twins,
Yeah.
and they're bound.
Yeah.
Illustrations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
satisfying.
Yes.
Yeah.
For me, it might have been when Miranda is crying about her divorce. I just felt like that was so like, you had to have it. Like you actually needed it. You needed it to understand Miranda Priestley. And same with Nigel talking about, I talked about this a lot, but Nigel talking about reading the magazine under his covers you understand his loyalty, and you understand like the whole movie is such brilliant writing, but there's these moments where you like crystal clear understand who these characters are and why they are and why they continue to do this. And those several moments in the movie where you understand that, I think are my favorites.
Yeah.
What about you?
It's hard to pick one. I think when Nate bites into the $8 Jarlsberg grilled cheese, I don't know what sound effects David put on that, but
Foley
oh my
artist
God,
at work.
so good. Yeah.
It's so funny how a grilled cheese can just like stay in our minds, right?
Yes.
I mean, really everything from this film does. So Anne said that someone described this movie as gay Christmas. And so I wanted to know how you guys would describe it, especially with the Prada 4 returning.
With the what returning?
The Prada 4.
Oh,
So we've been calling
Holy
it Holy-
Quadrant.
Holy
Yeah.
Quadrant. Prada 4 also
Prada
good.
4,
Add to the
Holy
lexicon.
Quadrant. I like that one too.
Prada Quadrant.
But yes,
Yeah.
how would you describe this film?
It does feel like Gay Christmas.
A
to me.
sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah, sequel. Was that the
Trademark
lean
that.
original?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sequel.
I mean,
Sequel. Oh no, yes. Sorry, run it back. Sequel.
Such a great idea, Simone. How did it feel for you guys to all join this, especially with the, what did you say? The quadrant?
The Holy
The
Quadrant.
Holy Quadrant. What was it like to join the Holy
Is it
Quadrant?
quadrant or doesn't matter? Continue.
Yeah. How did it feel for you to join that group?
I was saying earlier, like to see that their relationships and their friendships have deepened 20 years was really special to get to witness their reunion and to see how in an industry where like, you know, sometimes you work with one person and then you'll never work with them again. And I don't think that they made the first one with any expectation or thought that they would be able to revisit these roles. So like to get to be a fly on the wall while they did that was really special.
Yeah.
So amazing. Now, Simone, your character is the new Emily to Miranda. So what was your first reaction to seeing Meryl as Miranda Priestley?
So my first day, they were halfway through filming in that day. So like there was no like warm up into it. I came to set and they threw me in. So it was just like I was in work mode immediately and just on my mark doing my thing. And and it was only I guess until afterwards I kind of like had a bit of distance and could just like experience it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I think the ball really started rolling when we filmed at the runway offices. I think that's when we were like, oh wow, like we're in runway.
Yes.
And we're doing it. Yeah.
Yes. And for the both of you, what were your reactions? Because Helen, your character, had a great like moment in the movie, but what were both of your reactions to seeing Meryl as Miranda for the first time?
I mean, it was that. Like a gagged, just completely gobsmacked that I have found myself in a room with Meryl Streep. And my job here is to be an actor where she is also an actor. Like that is a crazy concept for me to envision, and to say that out loud and to journal about it afterwards was like a really wonderful touch point of gratitude for me every day. I'm waking up, this is my job today. This is what's going on. It's just so unbelievable.
Caleb, what about you?
All of that, and I wondered what she was gonna have for lunch. Like I was like, is she? I was like, does she have like a chef here, or is she gonna eat the catering? Like I wasn't like gonna watch her like get to the bottom of it. I remember that thought crossing my mind and being like, oh, I wonder about that. But
Miranda or Meryl?
Meryl.
Yeah.
I was like, I wonder what she's gonna have for lunch. But yeah, seeing Meryl as Miranda, and then thinking about the Miranda of it all, I was just like, oh my god. I mean, we talked about this earlier, but I was like, oh my god, the way that she would dress now is so fascinating to me. I was really taken by like, oh, these are the clothes she would wear now. That's so interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, so the first film really dealt with a lack of work-life balance and also some toxicity in the workplace that would just never fly today, thankfully. So with that 2026 lens, is there any advice you would have given Andy in the first movie with dealing with Miranda?
Like us as
Wake up 6. Sorry. Sorry, I interrupted you. Sorry.
You're totally good. Yeah, I was thinking like us as actors or us as like our characters, like Charlie or Caleb.
Just yourself, yeah.
Oh, me, Caleb? I would say don't suffer anything. Like I would say like if you're like stand up, like take up space, and I think she did. There was a little bit there that first moment where she was like, I'm really smart, and she's been sent away, and she turns back and gives her piece, and I'd be like, come in with that. Like, I think that would be my advice to anyone that's going to be in a room with like a big, intimidating personality is like take up as much space.
How long would you guys personally feel you would have lasted with 2006 Miranda Priestley as your boss?
I would try for a year.
Yeah.
I would try my very best.
Give it an honest go.
Yeah, give it my best go. Because honestly, like, you learn a lot about how you want to work and how you maybe don't want to work, I feel like, in moments like that. So I would give it my best go.
Yeah. Quickly before I wrap up, the first film really inspired a generation to fall in love with not just the fashion industry, but with ambition. So I'm curious with this film, what do you guys think the next generation will be inspired to fall in love with?
I think the same things, like when I watched the second one for the first time, I left feeling as a young woman empowered and inspired. So yeah.
That ambition doesn't have to be like a nasty word to use or like wanting something bigger than yourself or wanting to be better and to keep learning. That to me is what ambition is. And I feel like it can shift and change. So I feel like a new definition of ambition, maybe.
Fendi, we need that. The Brunello Cucinelli pants, love those. And you definitely need an embroidered two-piece totem set, but not the terracotta because you're so pale.
So I want to start with the original idea that sparked this sequel, being started to move along.
It's such a slow burn problem.
I mean, we said no for so long.
Yeah.
I mean, it came up every year since we made the original, and people would, no, because how are we going to get these people together? They went in different directions, and we just the idea of trying to compete with something that was lucky enough to connect with audiences so effectively seemed impossible, and it still feels a little impossible, but. The world of media had changed so much. And once we started talking about it
publishing,
again, Aline had a lot of ideas about how the world had changed, and that created dramatic possibilities.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, it's just to see that, especially as a journalist too, I'm like, oh, this hits so hard, but I want to get back to what you said about getting the four of the actors together. Because not only are their lives in different directions, but the schedules are so busy. So how did you guys go about assembling them? Like, was this a conference call, or who did you reach out to?
We started with
first?
Meryl, and we sat with Meryl for like 5 or 6 hours. And, as far as I'm concerned, if Meryl thinks it's a good idea, it's a good idea. And then, once we had Meryl, I think it sort of released all of us to get excited. And
I just picked up the phone and I called everybody.
Yeah.
I just called Andy and Emily and Stanley. I said, what do you think? And they, screaming, yes, of course, and it was like in 10 minutes, everybody was in.
Yeah.
So we went to the studio and said, hey, here we go.
Yeah.
It's like we got the Beatles back together. When do you want to do the concert?
And we came to them as opposed to them coming to us. A lot of sequels, it's the studio asking. But that's exactly right. We got the Beatles back together and we said, hey, do you want another Beatles record? And they were excited about it. And they were not just excited about the principle of it, but the idea that we had for the movie and the story we were working on. And then it was a question of getting a script to them that they were all excited about and turning in the script and then sort of going about my life,
Aline wrote a script that the president of the studio said, I would make this even if there wasn't an original movie.
Wow.
That's how entertaining it is, how funny it is, and how relevant it is. And so that was,
and the actors really embraced the draft right away.
Yeah.
And maybe I saved every email and text on my phone, maybe. No, they were excited. And then I came back to New York and met with everyone to keep working on the story. And so it was a really fun process of we met with Meryl in May, and then we started shooting 13 months later, something like that. And so we got a chance to really make it come to life in conversation. And having done the first movie, there was sort of a muscle memory there.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's how it felt watching it. It just felt like we slipped right in, and I'm just really excited for everyone to see it. But for you guys on set, was there a moment when you saw Meryl and you thought Miranda Priestley is back?
Oh.
Yeah, just the hair and makeup test.
Yeah.
I mean, the minute she put on
oh my God, do you remember
wig,
the hair and makeup test?
Yes, of course.
She walked in and everyone sort of
gasped.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. And Annie gasped, and just seeing her again in that, and there's a fear that Miranda Priestley inspires.
She
can't
just
help it.
becomes Miranda.
Yeah.
She puts on the hair and she's Miranda.
Yeah. So it's still intimidating, even though this is the second film.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. In fact, you're intimidated even when she's just sitting over there having a chocolate chip cookie in the corner of the set.
100%.
You look over and you're
having her little
you go like this.
cappuccino.
Oh, Miranda's here.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Definitely.
That's so funny. Well, what I loved about Miranda in this movie is we see a lot more of her vulnerability. So for you, Aline, talk to me about the decision to put her in that position where she's not holding all the cards this time.
Well, as we were saying, these worlds have such challenges now just to monetize and figure out, ad revenues are changing or disappearing or moving to other platforms. And, a lot of the social media stuff launched with really no way to make a profit. Same thing with streaming. It was like, well, we're just going to use this technology and eventually it'll teach us how it'll make a profit. And a lot of them didn't. And so, she's somebody who's trying to stay current and keep her brand current. But just because people follow you on Instagram doesn't mean you're making any money.
Yeah,
and so she has to
monetize without advertising.
She has to figure out a way to. And so these companies have become events companies, digital companies, their brand awareness is quite high for a lot of these publications, but, you're not picking up the magazine at the newsstand anymore. And so I think, if you look at something like the New York Times in some ways is a puzzle company that does cooking recipes and also the news. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of the companies that have survived are places that have found a way to reinvent their business. You saw yesterday that Allbirds, the shoe company, is pivoting to AI. Yeah. I feel bearish on those possibilities, but it just shows you that pivoting has become important. And so Miranda has to deal with, things were the same for a very long time. And then they started to change, and then the change became exponential. And the truth of the matter is we're in the middle of the change. We don't know what's happening. We don't know what AI is going to bring. We don't know what it's going to look like. We don't know what any of these technologies are going to look like. I could not, when email started, I don't know that I that would have led to me learning the apple dance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so those evolutions we can't predict.
Absolutely. One last question before I go. There were so many great callbacks in this film, from fashion moments to repeatable lines. What was one thing you knew needed to be in the sequel?
I had said to David, maybe she doesn't remember her, and we thought that was funny. And then David said, no, that wasn't a question. Who are you? No, that wasn't a question. And I thought, oh, that's great. And that works whether you know it or not.
Yes.
And there were a few other times where either the callback was really like sitting right there and we took it, or somebody would go, oh, you know what, this, and it had to be multi-purpose. Mm-hmm. It had to work if you had seen the first movie and if you hadn't seen the first movie.